Hello YouTube and hello 9th Age community. This is Charles with Evershed Gaming, and I'm bringing you another 9th Age battle report. This is game 2 from Cornerhammer GT that it was that happened in kind of late March, just a few weeks ago, and I'm playing against an Infernal Dwarf opponent. And this is an interesting Infernal Dwarf list because I think there's only like 3 actual dwarves in here. So yeah. So he's got a Turok Subjugator as his general, and I believe the Subjugator's got a 2-up, 4-up regen. And then he's got a Vizier BSB on a Bull Shamut with the Ghostly Guard, Hero's Heart, and Talisman Shielding. Yeah, so this is 2 characters in the army. He's got no magic. He's got 30 Hobgoblin Backstabbers, 20 Orc Slaves with paired weapons, 20 Orc Slaves with paired weapons, and 4 more units, so 20 Orc Slaves, all with paired weapons. And I don't know if you can see a theme in the army. And then he's got 2 things of 12 Turoks with Infernal weapons, 2 gunnery teams with the grenade launchers. Those are the D6 +1 shots, strength 6, AP2. 2 Armour Giants with the Slave Master's Whip, and 1 Infernal Engine with the Steam Hammers. My list will be posted in the description for the video if anyone wants to look at it again, but it was also in the previous video as well. So, starting with deployment, it's diagonal deployment, and man, I feel like sometimes diagonal deployment you can feel pretty cramped. I definitely feel like his army was extremely cramped. So he's got 12 of his truck on his left flank, or I guess on my left flank. Then he's got his BSB in the middle next to his engine, and then 2 slave units, 1 of the unit of goblins, and a giant in the back, and then another giant. The unit of goblins is on the hill. It's that small unit. And then 3 more slaves all kind of crammed in that same corner. Another unit of the 12 trucks. And then his truck subjugator is that small, he's smaller guy, kind of all behind those orc slaves. So yeah, the nice thing about this army is he's got a lot of nice leadership range. He's got 8s and 9s everywhere with those giants in his general, and then his BSB has 18 insurance. So leadership, I don't think it was ever that bad for my opponent. Starting with my left flank, I've got my 6 Knight in the Orders, and then my 4 Knights of Sun Griffin. On the hill, I've got 20 light infantry with crossbows, and then behind them, or behind and next to them, are 12 crossbows, 12 light infantry with crossbows, and then my Imperial Guard is in the middle of the board. And then next to my Imperial Guard, or behind rather, is the Arcane Engine, the Mortar, and the Cannon, my 20 light infantry with handguns, my Steam Tank behind, or next to the building, and then my 5 Riders on my right flank. I believe we traded a couple deployments, and then I was able to draw range to a couple things, and then I just started placing things down. Like I knew my handgunners had range, I knew both my crossbow units had range. So as soon as I kind of had a couple ranges, I was confidently able to place things down, and then he was able to counter some of my deployments. The objective is hold the center, and turn 1 I don't really do that much movement. I got everything in all my light infantry in range. I can't really move my cavalry anywhere because they're kind of boxed in with that Infernal Engine. So just go right to magic, get Flex Card 1. I'm able to get Molten Copper off one of the Orc units, do modest damage to them. And then I believe that's all I get off in the magic phase. In the shooting phase, I start opening up, and I kill quite a bit of the... I killed like 13 of the goblins, which was nice. They're actually one of the only scoring units he has, and they're right towards the middle, so I get rid of them. And then I really pick on the unit of orcs over here, 2 of the unit orcs, and there's only 4 models left, so I thought that was pretty good. So, Infernal Dwarves, turn 1. His engine moves a good 12 inches or something like that with the 3d6, which is a little bit more than I would like. And then you can see he doesn't really move too much with everything else. He does push the orcs up, he pushes the goblins up. The giants are, kind of keeping in line. But yeah, he's moving up, but not too. I'm not super aggressively because I do have some good things that can countercharge. So EOS turn 2. His turns go by really fast. I put orders up. I got accurate on my crossbows and impulsive movement on my Imperial Guard. I charged my Knightly Orders at the unit of 12 trucks over here. I was kind of hoping for some just to hold them up for one turn. And then over here I charged my Imperial Guard at one of the unit of slaves because it's time to start shooting through 120 T4 models already. It's such a honestly one of the most interesting lists I've ever seen. I decided to chaff the Infernal Engine with my Knights of Sun Griffin. I didn't love that, but I also didn't know the rule that it could only charge things in its front arc at the time. Otherwise, I would have done something differently. In the magic phase, I get Altered Sight off on my big unit of crossbows, which is always great. I get Word of Iron off on my Imperial Guard, which is also great. I love having a 1-up armor save on that unit. And I think I try and throw a Silver Spike at his general, and he stops it, which is okay. In the shooting phase, again, the crossbows pick on the scoring unit, and there's only 5 goblins left. They passed their panic test, unfortunately. And then I'm also start picking on some of the orc slave units. It's kind of this one's on the left side of the field. They take some damage. That might be from the mortar, actually. Mortar did really well this game. And then in close combat, the Imperial Guard just crushed slaves. I mean, they do a decent amount of wounds, and then they just got so much combat res, they auto-break them. I barely take any damage, and I overrun into the next unit, and I also pursue down the other unit of slaves. And then over here, the complete opposite happened. The Knightly Order is completely whiff. I don't get any wounds through. I just roll really badly. And then he rolls, and he just kills the whole unit. They are strength 5, which is nice for him, but I just failed so many armor saves, and unfortunately they're just dead. So, Infernal Dwarf's turn 2. That unit of 4 slaves tried to charge the mortar. They needed like a long charge, like 11 or 12 on the dice, but it's only 4 slaves, so what are they going to do? And then this is, again, how it's kind of looking. The Infernal Engine is going to go into the Knights of Sun Griffin, and then there's some counter charges that happen in the middle. The goblins charge the flank of my Imperial Guard, and his general comes in on that corner, which is not the end of the world. Here are the slaves failing the charge against the mortar. Again, they needed a long charge, like 11 or 12 on the dice, but it's not the end of the world. Yeah, so into combat. Again, I have a 1-up armor save on that unit, so I don't really take that many casualties. I only take 4. I want to say I kill, looks like 12 or like 10 slaves, 10 orc slaves, and I killed 2 goblins. And I don't think this is after his general attack too. So I actually end up winning this combat really well. The goblins flee, the orcs flee, and his general flees. I let the orcs kind of run away, and then I actually pursued down his general, which was really nice. And this might be a turn later. I want to say I went into another unit of orc slaves as well. I think the Imperial Guard fought 3 units over the course of the game. And then this is a picture of those goblins right there. And you can see some shooting is also keeps withering another unit of orc slaves. In US turn 3, I threw a magic missile at this little guy. He's been picking on my Arcane engine, and I've actually been rolling poorly on my saves. So I've taken a decent amount of damage on my Arcane engine. I chaff up the 1 unit of Turks that's come around the building. I chapped him up, and I also shot at him, did some nice damage. And then onto turn 3 ID. This game went by really fast, actually, because his turns were just mostly movement. And then mine, is pretty quick. It was just shooting and some, like, a little bit of magic here and there. So it was a pretty quick game. Yeah. So on his turn 3, his bull BSV charges the flank of my crossbows, which is okay. Couldn't really stop that. I wanted to do as much shooting as possible. And then his trucks over here charged my pistoliers. This is where I missed the pistols being able to stand shoot at any range. But that's okay. And then this is just showing kind of the general placement of the rest of the units. He's got still 2 giants left alive. He's got 1 unit of orc slaves that fled from a charge, I want to say, at one point, and they kept running and running. My Imperial Guard are off the board. They fought, again, I want to say they fought another unit of orc slaves, and they ran off the board. So, yeah, my Imperial Guard made it from one side to the other. In combat here, he does a little bit of damage, but I stick, actually. And then over here, he has no problem, I want to say, just killing the whole unit, I want to say. Yeah, he probably came in and killed the whole unit. But on my turn, I was able to kill the rest of his unit, actually, which is my, like, 14 shots, because I'm not even in I don't even have a parent unit nearby. So yeah, I want to say with 14 shots, I just rolled really well, and I just kind of poked through his armor save with all the strength 4 AP2, and either I killed them here or I killed them on the stand and shoot. But the stand and shoot doesn't even matter either, because you know, I could mark some defend on that unit of hand gunners. So yeah, they took those guys out. And then in the middle, you know, I've got that one unit of orc slaves still coming up the middle. It's pretty weakened, but I don't really have any. I have less things to shoot at now. My crossbows are shooting at the giants and putting a couple wounds on there here and there. And then this is kind of really crazy. On my turn, I charge my Arcane engine at his volley gun, and I guess those things can stand and shoot. I didn't really realize that. And he rolled. He only got like 2 hits. I only had 1 wound left on this thing. I just kept soaking up wounds from those little grenade launchers. He only got 2 hits. He got 1 wound, and I passed my 5 up ward save. I failed my 5. I had a 5 up armor save, and then I had 5 up ward save. I passed the ward save, and then I was able to go in with my impact hits to kill it, and then I actually ran off the board. But yeah, I was debating about throwing magic missiles, but I was worried he was just going to stop him, or I was not going to kill him with them. Another crazy thing you have in this game is the light infantry went 3 rounds of this bull in their flank, passing like a leadership 6 test twice, I want to say, with no rerolls, just straight up leadership 6 because he causes fear. So yeah, this is them with 5 guys left, still got a rank, still steadfast, passed their leadership 6 test. Haven't done anything to him because I mean, he's got a good armor save, but they're still alive. So at the start of ID turn 4, he charges one of the giants at my light infantry. I stand and shoot, and I want to say I do maybe a wound, and then the orcs charge, and I decide that I want to flee. However, I flee very, very not far, I guess. Sorry. And this giant is actually able to complete the charge. So it was kind of like a medium charge for the giant. Then I was hoping to make it a long charge for him, maybe rally these guys again, make him have to go after him. But I couldn't stop him from getting that guys, unfortunately. So I lose my light infantry there. My Imperial Guard have been climbing back towards the middle of the board, turn 4 and 5, because I need to claim that objective in the center. And the only thing that's otherwise been able to claim, I think, the objective is 1 turn. I think the goblins got it. And now he had that big unit of truck that my Knightly Orders were killed by turn 1 or turn 2 are now in the middle of the board trying to contest it as well. I'm able to use my steam tank to kill one of the giants. That was great. And this was turn 6. So I feel like I'm missing a little bit of pictures at this point. The game went by. It was a pretty fast-paced game, which means I should have had more time to take pictures, but I didn't. This is my EOS on turn 6, my turn 6, charging his truck unit. Because his truck unit is just within the objective, and if he gets 1 more turn of the objective, he will win the objective for the game. So I come in, and I'm all ordered up. I've got 3 orders on them: the movement, fight next to rank, and 3d6 discipline test. And then I also have +1 strength, altered sight, and I think the armor save on them or something. Suffice to say, with all my attacks, I actually just blow through the whole unit of Turok. And I just obliterate them. He rolled pretty poorly on his armor saves, but I did roll really well on my stuff as well. So one of his giants went into the forest to go get the cannon that was left. He got the mortar and he got the cannon. But on my turn 6, I was able to charge a steam tank into him and do a bunch of wounds to him. So the nice thing about that is he ended up getting my cannon still, which is okay. I'm still going to end up getting his giant because we still have his turn 6 to fight. So on ID turn 6, the only thing my opponent really does is, I don't even think he does much. Yeah, there's not much he can do. I couldn't finish off those orc slaves with my handgunners the previous turn. My handgunners, I want to say, are just in the building, actually. at this point. You only have 10 shots in a building, so that's not really that many shots to kill. I probably should have just moved them around, but I thought, whatever. Yeah, so I'm not able to kill the Orc Slaves, and then I am able to finish off the Giant with my Steam Tank, and this is where the game ends on turn 6 ID. He's got his Bull BSB left, his Infernal Engine sitting on 1 wound. It took a couple cannonball shots at some point, and it's got 1 wound left, and then my big Imperial Guard holding down the objective, a couple slaves, and yeah. So this ends up being a 14-6 victory for the OS, and I want to say it was an objective tie. I can't quite remember, but I mean it's hold the center, and it's it's like whoever you take time winning the different rounds during the game. It's not just who holds it at the end of the game now, which is better. I think that benefits different styles of play other than just like the big Death Star sitting on the objective the last turn. And I want to say that we both had one round where we took it. I want to say I won it round 6 when my Imperial Guard beat the truck on my turn 6, and then didn't have to move anywhere within 6 inches and got it. And I want to say that he might have won it with the truck another round, or it was the Goblins. So either way, it was a time objective. 14-6 win for your OS. Yeah, there's a few things I feel like I wish I'd done a little bit differently, and the big one is just with the Knights of Sun Griffin. I wish I knew that rule. I just assumed, you should never assume when you're playing 9th Age, and I just assumed that the Infernal Engine operated just had the same random movement as the Steam Tank, but I didn't realize. I mean, I knew it had the Chariot move, but I didn't realize that it had that rule where it can only charge the front rank, because otherwise I could have just moved past it. I don't even think a Giant would have been that scary for me, the Giant charge, because they're only strength 5 in his army. And I don't think that would go past his armor or past my armor saves. And the Grips, I mean, they can do some serious damage to a Giant. Yeah, I mean, because they're strength 5 too. So yeah, I think in the long run versus Giant, even worse if he brought Orc Slaves in, because that's just combat rest for me at that point. Because those Orc Slaves aren't going to do much either. So yeah, I wish I could have moved the Knights of Sun Griffin around. That might have actually helped me win the objective. And also keep more of the light infantry alive, but it's what ifs. Still had to deal with the truck on that left flank because the Knightly Orders whiffed. But the Imperial Guard rocked at this game. They crushed so many Orc Slaves. I was pretty proud. In an army with 120 Orc Slaves, I only left 2 on the battlefield. So I feel like that is an accomplishment in itself. And a 14-6 is a solid win, so I was very happy with this round too. I was actually pretty excited to play this army. This is like probably the most bizarre armies I've ever seen. Very different 9th Age army, with all those blocks of slaves and like no magic and like kind of minimum characters. I liked it. It was good. It was very interesting. So thanks to Matt for the game, and I'll have another battle report coming out soon. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.